Oh boy, big news. Let us, if we could, start off by saying, first of all, to you, Pierino, what a great name. That's all I want to say to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to try with me to do something. And I want you to try something that maybe you haven't done in a while. And I don't want you to take this the wrong way. I don't want you to say, oh, he's being a smart aleck. All right? But I want you to listen to me, and I want you to listen carefully. First, let me read you the news, and let's see what you think about this. And let's go through it. And then I want to ask you the question. Because it seems that Governor Ron DeSantis of the state of Florida, my native state, he's planning to announce the commencement of his 2024 campaign for presidency on Wednesday in a live audio, conversation. This is not video, this is audio, on Twitter with Elon Musk, the poobah, the pate, the prelate, the panjandrum of Twitter. What do you think? What do you think? Unlike traditional campaign launches with throngs of elated people, scores of rhapsodic, husting folks, this is going to be a little different. This is going to be at 6 p.m. on Twitter, at what is being called a conversation. And that is it. And from what I understand, this is this video or just audio? This is just audio, correct? Can someone help me with this? Am I missing something here? Is this going to be just audio? This here Twitter Spaces or whatever it's called? Is that what that thing is? Is that what it's called? Huh? It's just audio, right? Am I correct, ladies and gentlemen? Is this just audio? Could I ask? Would you people wake up, for God's sakes, and answer? Answer my question. Don't make me yell. Don't make me beg. Can we verify this? Is it too much to ask? You're the expert. ANV, sir. Audio and video. Someone says yes. He won't be able to put PR, Bob Iger. I have no clue. Thank you, Nadia. Nadia Martinez, everybody. I haven't a clue. Nary a clue. I have video. You have video. Well, that's good. I don't know what this means. This is a very simple question. Tomorrow night when we're on Twitter and we go to Faces and audio, I can see you. Thank you so much. People are asking, no, I'm not asking if you can see me. I'm saying that tomorrow when Mr. DeSantis, it's audio only, correct? Les Solak 5x5. Let me try it again. This is funny. Lizzie, tomorrow, closed caption, thank you. Tomorrow, when Mr. DeSantis announces this, which we already know about, with Elon Musk, I have never watched a Twitter, whatever it's called, what's it called? Spaces. I've never watched it. So consequently, I don't know what it is. So spaces are audio only. That's what I thought. Audio only. That's what I thought. It's just audio. Because there's no video. There's no camera. There's no OBS on Twitter. I mean, you can put videos up after it's done. I don't think you can do live programming. Now, Liz Solak, by the way, for the save. Love you, Lizzie. Love you, love you, doll. The best. Aces. I give her a kidney if she needs it. And even if she didn't, I would say, here, take the kidney, put it on ice. You never know. Now let me ask you this question. Without being cute, without being your usual self, without being your usual truculent self, your usual high-spirited, rambunctious, sardonic, sarcastic selves, would you answer the question for me? Do you think this is a good idea? Does it matter? Think about what you're going to say. Think, for the love of God, please think first. And then ask yourself, what do you think as a result? Let me ask you, what do you think? Is it an AI deepfake? Very, very good. Very, very good. I'm using this new program. Well, it's not a new program. I think it's called Chat GPT Zero. It's called Zero GPT. These are AI detectors. Chat GPT, GPT-4 detectors. And I wrote something. I took a piece from a newsletter, which I wrote. I wrote it. And I put it in, and it says, likely written by a human. Thank you. But we'll get to that later. Let me ask you the questions. I'm going to do our own little... First of all, do you think he is starting too soon? Anybody? Does anybody think that Mr. DeSantis is starting too soon? Announcing too soon. Is this too soon or too late? You've got Nikki, what's her name in there? You got Timmy Scott's in there. You got, who else is in there? Trump, of course. Do you think he's too late? Do you think it's too late? Do you think he is too late? First question. Well, one thing is, when Trump announced in 2015, it was June 14th, it was on his birthday. In June. Mary says it's a poor medium to do it in. Is it? How many people think, yes or no, is this a poor medium? One or two, yes or no? One or two. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to answer all my questions. Do you think this is a poor medium? Do you think it's going to be a big mistake? This is going to be a flop. Is he going to lose? They're going to say, well, you know why he lost, right? Well, he announced on Twitter Faces, whatever the thing's called, Safe Face, whatever. You think so? A lot of ground to make up. Really? Seriously, really? He's already been campaigning. Make up for what? Is it a poor format? What does it matter? Eric Thaddeus Walters, poor. Well, that's it. Say no more, my friends. That's it. ETW gives it the thumbs down. The black smoke using the Vatican motif. Here's the answer. I think it's good. Why? First of all, we're talking about it. Second of all, it's weird. It's kind of that 18 to 49 crowd. Hey, I'm Ivanka Trump. Hey. Anyway, and she makes that noise too, by the way. I think it's great. What difference? Remember Nikki Haley's announcement? Remember? No, you don't. Tim Scott? No. Do you remember Gary Bowers? No. You don't remember these things. You don't remember unless it's Bobby Kennedy Jr. Bobby Kennedy when he selected the same place that his brother announced. Nobody cares about this. It's different. Shows people he's high-techy. That's number one. So, ding, good for you. And he's going to need all the help he gets because he is as boring as a wet. You know what I mean? As a wet pejo. He is just, does not have it. Right? So I think that's good. So it shows different. Number two, he's going to have Elon Musk there. Is this a tacit endorsement? What is going on? Does this help Elon? Of course it is. Why? Well, Elon needs to up the price of that Twitter, and I think he's done an admirable job. What he's doing is he's establishing Twitter as the place to be. Don't you understand? Hey, don't you understand? It's smart. It's smart for Elon. And some guy from NBC or whatever. It's terrific. It's great. It's different. People are talking about it. We're talking about it. Do you think it's a good idea? I don't know. What about this? He's already doing something great. Nikki Haley. What? Nobody remembers. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Trump has spent more money I think, against or regarding him than anybody else. And Trump is starting to kind of lose it. He was sneering. They had a remote conference today. I read regarding the trial date for the Alvin Bragg case. I think it's going to be right during the primaries. And they had Trump on to Zoom something or other, and he was like sneering. They said, well, why didn't you have him there during the arraignment, for God's sake? You didn't need to do that. Now, using Real Clear Politics as an average of all the polls, Trump's like still 30 points ahead, but that's now. That's now. Now, let me ask you a question. Listen to me very carefully. Listen to me very carefully. What do you think is Trump's message? What do you think is DeSantis' message? And I'm telling you right now, I want you to understand something so that there's no mistake. If Ron DeSantis is the Republican nominee, I'm voting for Ron DeSantis. I'm voting for the Republican nominee. Let me say something. Let me just make sure you understand. I don't care who it is. If it's George Goober Lindsay, which might be tough right now, I'll vote for him. If it's Vic Tayback, who played Alice. Remember that guy? He played on Alice. He was the cook. Doesn't matter. Vic Tayback. I said that. Yeah. If Rula Lenska runs, she's a nominee. I'm voting. So it doesn't really matter. So you're going to vote for the Republican. Now let me ask you a question. And listen to me and listen carefully. Are you ready for this? I'm dead serious. Liz Solak says, anyone that would offer me a kidney deserves a tip. Liz, you're the best. Even mine. They're not that great. No, they're actually very good. My kidneys work great. Now, Lizzie, let me ask you. Oh, by the way, of course. And I say that with all due respect. Here's my question. Liz, I'll start with you. Hypothetical. Donald Trump against Bobby Kennedy Jr. Donald Trump against Bobby Kennedy Jr. Bobby Kennedy Jr. in my world is the Democratic nominee. Bobby Kennedy Jr. versus Donald Trump. Who would you vote for? Liz would vote for a ghost. What is that? That's a little emoji. My thing, they're so tiny. I can't. It looks like a ghost rising out of an endothelium. Oh, Andy, I'm going to do my research. I know my research. You're a little sketchy. Who would you vote for? Bobby Kennedy Jr. or Donald Trump? Come on. Simple. Bobby Kennedy. Trump over anyone else? Okay. Donald? Okay. Kennedy and hide your guns? 45, Big T? Okay. I'm going to say something to you now because I love you. And Donald Duck, very good. I love you, and I'm going to say this. You do know that with the exception of an executive order with a Republican House, which would be very, very good, and a Senate, Trump might be able to do something. They're not going to let Trump do anything. You know that, right? You know that they're not going to let Trump do anything. Anything. Eric Thaddeus Walters says, friends and acquaintances accuse me of being a Grim Reaper because I try to remove ostrich heads from the arid and manured minefield of silicate. Your recent vids on AI are most appreciated. RFK Jr. for AG under DJT. You know what? That's very good. He won't do it, but that's okay. He can't. Bobby Kennedy Jr. cannot ever work for Trump. Cannot. Though, it's one of those things. It's one of those things. Ideally, it would be wonderful. I would pick, I don't even know. And thank you, Eric, by the way. George Len says, I heard Citadel's Ken Griffin is funding the DeSantis campaign. Interesting, as Griffin was a big donor to Obama. Well, George, and by the way, George, thank you, sir. George, this could also be the play to try to block. DeSantis for the block. Who was it was pushing Tim Scott, too? It could be. It could be. That doesn't mean anything. Donald Trump, simply the best campaigner, the best politician in recent history. Do you understand this? Do you understand this? Donald Trump never conceded. It doesn't matter. They kind of did it for him. That's number one, Donald Trump. Number two, Bobby Kennedy. The next iteration of whatever, whether it's monkeypox, monkey clocks, monkey socks, donkey socks, whatever iteration, whatever newfangled disease vector comes about, to have Bobby Kennedy come out and say, here, Bobby, say something. AI will replace managers and HR for sure. Oh, guaranteed. Dung is fun. Thank you, Dung. Oh, absolutely. You don't even start. Don't even start with this. Bobby Kennedy Jr., to me, let me tell you what I'm thinking. Ready for this? Bobby Kennedy, for me, is, you're going to have to hold your nose, but is so exciting over the chance of something maybe getting done. There will be no work. Nobody will work with Trump. Trump will only have to work specifically with Republicans. There's no compromise. Nobody will ever come to Trump. Nobody will ever deal with Trump. Nobody will ever. It's not going to be done. No matter what he does. If Trump says, I have a cure for cancer, get the hell out of here. So at least with Bobby Kennedy Jr., there's something. There's theoretically something there. And I got to tell you something. For me to hear something that was so invigorating, to hear him talk about anti-war, it just makes my heart. Because everybody's talking about anti-war from the money point of view. Where's the money going? And is there any kind of an audit? And we have the audit. That's one way of looking at it. I'm looking at the idea about why are we even, what do we have to do with Russia and Ukraine? The first thing I would love to do is when somebody tells, okay, this is what I would love to do. I'd love to be this person. I'd love to say, all right, let's go to the State Department. All right. Whoever has a job, take one step forward. Not so fast, Victoria Nuland. Get out of here. You get out. Clean out. Here's a box. Get out. And I don't want any Kagans, Newlands, none of you people. Even though your old man was a pretty great guy. Get out. Go back to the Institute for the Study of War. Get out. All you NATO warmongers, get out. All you war profiteers, get out. Get out. Are you Russophobic, Kremlin-baiting Boris and Natasha? Get out. I want a full accounting of every penny that went to Zelensky. I want a lien put. I want that back. I want that back. What were the conditions? You gave him money for what? What did you do? Where'd it go? I want it back. General Kennedy, because attorney generals are referred to as General Kennedy, would you like to announce? Yes, I would. By the way, whenever he speaks, I like the fact that he's got guts, Bobby Kennedy. We would like to announce the following indictment against Hunter Biden for a multiple, and the Biden family for a multiple count racketeering indictment that would make the commission case look like a parking ticket. Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, Jill Biden, James Biden, Hallie Biden, Eddie Biden. I just made that name up. If your name is Biden, you're Biden time. You're in the indictment. And we're going to hit you with stuff like you, Farah, foreign agent, bribery, treason. Oh, we'll get to the impeachment. We're not even done with that one. We have a special division called the Biden division. This will make the Lindbergh, the Bruno Hauptmann case, OJ, you name it, the commission case in New York, it will be the case to end cases. Wouldn't happen with, I don't know. In my fantasy world, I could see Bobby Kennedy. And I'd like to sit down with Bobby and say, Bobby, let me ask you a question. You know they don't like you, right? You know your family takes you for a joke, right? You know that. All of them do. They take you for a joke. They've never listened to you. Yeah, you were the guy with the river, and that was okay, but you didn't get their impression, or their permission, rather. Because these are the biggest bunch of sellouts anybody's ever seen. The Kennedys. They laughed at you. All right? You always had to live behind John. He was the guy with all the looks and all the chicks and all the this and that. And you were one of 38 brothers and sisters? How much? Whatever. And you had your problems and you did the right thing. And you came out and what did you do? Holy moly, you took on Big Pharma? Gee. Bobby, I don't think you understand this. But you know who your fans are? The Republicans. There isn't a Democrat there who says, good for you, thank you. Because it's switched. Bobby, listen to me. The Republicans. I know, I can't stand these people. But let me tell you something. You try going to a Democratic convention and telling them, we have to stand up for the Constitution. Get the hell out of here. Go to a Republican enclave and they want to hear you. The Republicans are the ones. You can have people who actually talk about Victor Davis Hanson. Look at this. You have actual people. By the way, Victor Davis Hanson, I'm a big fan of it. Probably one of the most boring people. Victor Davis Hanson and Lex Friedman in an argument. Hey, you. Why I ought to rip your head off. No way, bro. You say that one more time to me. And I'm going to give you 2 raisins for eyes and make a man out of you. Nobody talks to me like that. Here's Ivanka. Hey! All right. Bobby, these are your people. These are your people. Bobby is on every show. Bobby on Dr. Drew. Bobby was on with Theo Von or something. Bobby's on Click and Clack. I mean, he's on every show. And the reason why it's very good is because that's what you do today. That's what you do. Bobby. I'm going to call you Bobby. Bobby, this left-right stuff is over with. Now, there's going to be some stuff these people are not going to like. And I know what you're saying. And we got to know this right now. What is it that you feel about climate change? Can you tell me? Can you explain this to me? Tell me what your thoughts are. I'll listen to you. What do you do? Do you believe in anthropogenic causation models? That's the first thing. That's my question. Do you believe that man-made, that whatever this, let's just say there's climate change. Let's just say climate change. Do you believe, Bobby, anthropogenic, man-made? Yes. Let's just get to that. Number 2. Do you think this has happened before in history? Yes. The Holocene maxima, the hypsithermals? Yes. So we had climate change, tremendous vicissitudinal, deep, very serious heat patterns before there were people, virtually. Okay. Next question, Bobby. And I'll agree. Let's just say, Fine, there's climate change. Number two, do you think it's man-made? Let's assume it is. Let's, for the sake of argument, good. Here's my question, Bobby. Here's my question. You ready for this? Okay. What do you want to do about it? That's my question. I don't want to argue about whether there's climate change. That's boring. What do you want to do about it? Make a deal with you. You can do whatever you want to the United States, so long as India and China and Russia and the rest of the world go first. If they do it, we do it. Is that a deal? Everybody okay with that? Everybody all right with that? Whatever your plan is, whatever it is, lower, I don't even know what it is. You want me to drive less? Do you want electric car? Electric cars, we've got a problem with that because what do you think fuels the generator ability to make the electric cars and all that kind of stuff? But let's just assume, whatever it is. Here's my deal. You talk to China. They go first because we're not going to do anything the only ones doing this. That's what we're going to do. We're just not going to do this. We're not going to do this. Have you ever, were you ever in school where you said, hey, why don't we wear some crazy, let's wear some crazy outfit to the prom or whatever it is. Yeah. Hey, let's do that. Okay. Yeah. You're going to do this, right? You better believe it. I did that one time. I wore this thing to this. We're playing guitar at this mass, and I looked like I was on psychedelic. It was ridiculous. But I'm not going to do that again. Everybody okay with that one? Everybody okay? If China will do it, we'll do it. But I don't think they're going to do it, Bobby. I don't think they're going to. I think you can go to Xi Jinping and say, hey, listen, I think you should go more for the electric boom. Really? Good. Anything else? All right. Because here's my position on this. I am not in a position to argue. I know a lot of stuff about this. My only question is, what do you want me to do about this? When Greta Thunberg, how dare you? I am here. I should be back in school. And here I am with you. Because I hate you. How dare you? How dare you? Remember that? Yeah. I loved her. When she did that, I was doing the how dare you, no matter what it is. Go to Wendy's drive-thru. Yeah, before we went how dare you? Who is this? Greta, what are you doing? I should be in school with the children. She's like 42 years old. I don't know what her story was. But anyway, Greta, what do you want me to do? I know, you dare me. But aside from that, get over it, honey. What do you want me to do? I don't know. I'm being very serious. Eric, you can help me. Liz, everybody can help me. I don't know what you want me to do. What do you want me to do? What? Do you know? Does anybody know? Does anybody know? You mentioned something about electric cars. You want me to buy an electric car? I'm not going to buy what do you want me to do? You want me to drive less? What? I'm not kidding. I don't know what you want me to do. Okay, so let's put the climate change over there. Okay, let's put it over there. Now, Bobby, let's talk about some other stuff. If you're running for president, what are your positions on guns? Now, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something right now, and I want you to listen to me. I have been a Second Amendment. I'm a constitutional advocate right here. Here's my book, Second Amendment. Tench Cox. I went to his grave in Philadelphia. Honored him. He's the Pennsylvanian. His words on the militia are second to none. But I'm going to tell you something right now, and I want you to listen to me. Please don't take this the wrong way. There are some people out there who are gun advocates who are out of their mind. Out of their mind. You hear what I'm saying? Could you give me a little bottled water, one of those little tiny ones? I forgot to bring something in there. I'm starting to get parched. They and I, we agree on things. And Bobby, I'm telling you, I've seen these people. You're going to take my gun. Okay, fine. All right. I understand. Thank you. Open carry might theoretically make sense. I got a lot of problems with that. Open carry in public, you're going to freak people out? No. I don't want to do it. I don't want open carry. Concealed, I got a problem with that. With a permit, I'll do that. Permitless, okay, maybe. But that Lauren Boebert thing, where they're walking around, people standing there with AR-15s. No. But here's the story, though, Bobby. Heller is very, very clear. And we have a Second Amendment right to possess a firearm and not pursuant to any type of militia warning. Dung is Fun says, what if the thought of climate change is to keep people from freaking out and climate is determined by the sun? You can't fix the sun. That's me. Well, and thank you, by the way, Dung. There were some very interesting things. We need a debate. There was something in the old days called the Russell conferences, Bertrand Russell, Sartre, after Vietnam. We need to have kind of a real serious, all these, it's settled science. When have you heard that before? Have you seen that feller from MIT who has some very serious things to say about climate change or whatever? I'm no expert. Okay. But I don't think anybody knows what they're talking about. But let me go back to what I said originally. And this goes to Bobby Kennedy. If Bobby Kennedy can say, no, I don't, because listen, I think it's probably not the best thing for us to belch all types of exhaust into the world. But does this really have an effect to the point of this? When you say greenhouse effect, what do you think is the number one gas in greenhouse gases? What do you think the number one gas is? Yes. Oxygen. Not carbon. Oxygen. And there's other, but I don't want to get into that because I know that bothers you. Okay, that's it. Guns, what about that? What about taxes, Bobby? What about taxes? Because let me tell you something. If I knew that Bobby Kennedy at least would be listened to, at least, versus Trump, as great as he is, and nobody's going to talk to him. And even though what he's saying is terrific and wonderful and great, but if he makes everything nuts again and nobody talks to him, but Bobby Kennedy can get, I vote for Bobby Kennedy. Heart and a heartbeat. I am not connected to Trump. I am not connected to any party. I don't vote for people because, I love them. I'm a big fan. Can he get something effective? Can he get something done? Will he be able to do it? Bobby Kennedy does something that just makes people listen. People just don't show up. I don't think they're going to show up to his rallies. I don't think that's it. I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, Bobby Kennedy is not going to be the Democratic nominee. He is not going to be the Democratic nominee. It ain't going to happen. I still say right now it's going to be Gavin Newsom. How they're going to do this, I have no idea. How they're going to do this, I have no earthly idea, but they're going to do this. It's going to be Gavin Newsom. And don't be surprised if Gretchen Whitmer is the VP. This is what we're hearing. This is our secret folks are telling us this. Okay. But what are the other issues? What is this thing? What is this? What are the issues? Bobby, what are you going to do with China? What are you going to do with China? Do you think, seriously, that Trump is going to scare China? Now, I know you're going to say yes, because you think that about Trump, because Trump comes across as tough and he loves to do stuff. But when you're talking to somebody who comes across as tough, but the other side thinks your guy is crazy, doesn't work that way. Maybe it may sound tough, so I don't know. What do you think is going to happen with China? What do you think is going to happen to China? The problem is the people who run our military and the people who run our State Department and the people who run our diplomatic corps are in it for the military-industrial complex, the MIC. Eric says Putin, unfortunately, won't invade. Oh, Putin rather. Oh, Putin won't invade Europe. Last hope for a collective West is DJT-24. I don't know if the separation of that was to get around censors. That's very, very good. There is no Russian-Ukrainian problem. There just isn't. That is manufactured. That is absolutely, that has nothing to do with us. Nothing. Nothing. It never did have anything to do with us. I did a video on this thing about realism, and Mearsheimer is just my favorite. He is just superb. He is so monumentally superb. And he talks about the system being above us is anarchic. And by the way, Eric, thank you. It's anarchic, meaning there is no power above us. Nobody tells us what to do. Nobody tells a country what to do. The leaders. I mean, theoretically, power differential. Every country has their own interests at heart. From 1850 to roughly 1950, China called it the century of shame or something. You have to understand what it is that they're about. What are they about? If there's one thing that I've learned in my years of being a foreign policy genius, it's you have to understand their point of view. To be empathic. What is it that they really want? What is it? We never understood it with Vietnam. We thought that Ho Chi Minh was some kind of communist agent provocateur for Russia and China. He was a nationalist. It was a civil war. We missed that completely. I also have to do something right now. And I've got to make sure, Bobby, this is where he and I think Trump would work 100%. I don't care how you do it. But we have never seen more of a suppression of the right to express ourselves more than we are right now. There is nothing like this. It doesn't exist anything anywhere like now. And people are getting used to it far too much. We're going to put an end to that. And I would absolutely have no... Now remember, who runs the show? Big Pharma, Big Agra, Big Tech, and the military industrial complex, which is sort of kind of... Then we throw in neocons. Then we throw in other special interests. And then we throw in some other aspects. By the way, there was an article I read today which was so wonderful. So wonderful. And it was written by, I got to tell you this. Who remembers the Club of Rome? Anybody? The Club of Rome. The Club of Rome was in the 70s, it was a precursor to sort of Bilderberg. I mean, they were there first, but during this particular time, there were some wonderful quotes that were so terrific. So incredible. I wanted to read this to you. Strobe Talbot, who was Bill Clinton's deputy Secretary of State, said in Time magazine, listen to this. In the next century, nations as we know it will be obsolete. All states will recognize a single global authority. National sovereignty. Wasn't such a great idea after all. National sovereignty wasn't such a great idea after all. This was from Brandon Smith from Alt Market. Listen to the theories, the schemes, the goals of these new globalist groups. Listen to this. The power to limit industry. The power to control energy production and dictate energy sources. The power to control or limit food production and agriculture. The ability to micromanage individuals' lives in the name of some later defined greater good. A socialized system in which the individual right to property is abandoned. A one world economic system which they would manage. A one world currency. A one world government managing a handful of separate regions. And go back also to Bentham, go back to Malthus, these Malthusian. It is, this is a culmination of everything I have been reading and saying and thinking for 20 years. 20 years. Listen to this. Richard Gardner, in an article in Foreign Affairs magazine in 1974, said, in short, the House of World Order will have to be built from the bottom up rather than from the top down. It will look like a great booming, buzzing confusion, to use William James's famous description of reality, but an end run around national sovereignty, eroding it piece by piece, will accomplish much more than the old-fashioned frontal assault. The erosion of national sovereignty. My God, it's here. And I think right now, if I will make a deal with you, I'll let you do, well, to an extent. I say this partly, but I will listen to your ideas on climate change, on gun, on anything. If you and I can agree that nothing happens to our sovereignty, nothing happens to our individual ability to remain a proud republic, that we are never subsumed into some great reset, some Schwabian World Economic Forum, that we lose, we disengage, we denude ourselves, we disengorge ourselves, we disconnect from this world lunacy, from the Human Rights Commission that was responsible for almost destroying, Anheuser-Busch. From World Economic Forum, who gave us ESG, from the criminal law studies, from the critical race theory, from the crits, from all of these folks. I mean, I will, if you cut that, I'll listen to you about climate change. I'll compromise. I'll listen to you about anything. You've got to promise this. We are losing our sovereignty. We're losing our individual. We're losing America to people we've never voted for. So let me tell you something. First and foremost, Bobby Kennedy will not be a Democratic candidate. If he does third party, he's just going to split a vote. And I think it would be kind of interesting because people would probably split the Democratic vote. But you have no idea. You've got to ask yourself this question. What do you believe in? Are you a Trumper? A Trumpy? Are you an acolyte of Trump? Do you love him? Are you part of the fan club? Is that it? What do you truly believe in? What is it that you believe in? I believe in principles. I don't care about parties. There are some things I realize, it's not going to be perfect. But I don't want to get involved in these things that people care about. The gun issue has been lost, and I'm sorry, but it's been ruined by a lot of people who I don't think truly understand what the Second Amendment is all about. I really don't think so. I don't think, and I don't have to apologize for this. I don't have to explain to a Frenchman or somebody why we think that. But that's part of it. But here's the thing which is the most interesting. And I think either of these people, despite their private lives, because let me tell you something. If you think Donald Trump has lived a wild private life, Bobby Kennedy, this guy's a bobcat. You know what I mean? They all are. And that's just, par for the course, I guess. But there's something that maybe you can help me with. There is something that is so strange. There is a debauched degeneracy. This, and I always disliked people who claim to play the hyper, moralistic point of view. Like, well, the morals. It's like the people who always did this always were the biggest perverts and lechers, and yet they beloved. There is something that is happening here that is not just immoral, but there is a very sad case of almost a depraved it's a depraved lunacy. I wrote this piece today. I did a little video. I hope you are part of these things. It's very good, I thought. That was very good. And it's called... Where is this? Oh, here we go. The video piece was called America, the depraved, demented, deranged, distorted, and dissolute. That's exactly who we are. And that kills me. I don't mind living it up. I've got more friends who were degenerates, but not this. Having a wild lifestyle is one thing. Having a I guess having a I guess what the word is, having a kind of a wild lifestyle is one thing, but what they're doing specifically to children and families, that's another. And neither of these, neither Trump nor Bobby Kennedy, are moral, whatever. But I think they understand that this is different. This is a depravity that goes to the core. Not just, when you have immorality like this, Caligula, craziness, this affects the efficacy of a country. It does more than this. So anyway, so that's that. Bottom line, does DeSantis have a chance, yes or no? Bottom line, yes or no? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Does DeSantis have a chance? Yes or no? It's a pretty stupid question if you think about it, but I'm going to ask it anyway because I like the way you interpret these. Does Ron DeSantis have a chance? And if Ron DeSantis went against, I don't know, Gavin Newsom, you think he could handle it? Do you think that he has shown a pettiness, especially regarding? At first, it was kind of good this thing with Disney. Disney is he just kind of. You see what's happening right now? I want you to look at all these no's. He doesn't connect, and his personality is not the greatest. I'm very unimpressed. I will say one thing that he did that nobody did, and I will forever be so respectful of him. The state attorney, or the district attorney in New York, in Florida, for the 13th Judicial Circuit, was a fellow named Andrew Warren. And Andrew Warren was a Soros appointee, kind of a nominee. And Andrew Warren said, I'm not going to charge such and such. I'm not going to pursue these charges or these, whatever it is. And I forget if it was about abortion or something. And Ron DeSantis said, well, you know what? If you're not going to do your job, I'm going to suspend you. Or not suspend you, set you. I'm going to get rid of you. Eric Thaddeus Walter says, nescient ignoramuses are running education, and some teachers don't know what to do. And utterance equals unemployment. DeSantis has no chance. Well, I tend to agree, but for reasons. But thank you. Excellent. George Len says, you can draw a lot of conclusions, but the dumbing down of this country must be near or at the top of the list. Absolutely, George. Thank you. And by the way, Eric, what is happening today to academia? We had this lunatic teacher. Where was she, this teacher? Hunter College. They finally fired her. She pulled a machete on something. This is nuts. Do you think, Eric, that, and you being in Roma, do you think that American schools can compete with European? I don't know. European schools? Asian? No way. I would have so many areas to buy candidacy if I ran. And that's what he's got to do. The military. And we've got to do something about this gender insanity. Nobody that I know has ever said, we got to stop these drag shows. Nobody cares about that. There's always a part about children. And children, this enfeebled attempt on their part to make it sound like, you're really depriving children of this rich, burlesque. Stop it. So we shall see. Tomorrow, 6 o'clock, we're going to meet afterwards. We will meet. I'm going to force myself to watch maybe for the first time. I've never listened to one of these. But I do think, for the record, it's a smart idea. It's novel. Get Elon in there. And it kind of shows a little bit of heft. Elon needs the publicity too, don't you know? So does, by the way, I don't trust Elon Musk at all. But keep doing the right thing. He's done some good stuff. Not perfect. But he has done more to change the expectation interest and the expectation of people when it comes to at least revisiting, readdressing this notion called free speech and the like. So we shall see about that. So George Lenz, thank you. Eric Thaddeus Walters, you are without peer. Thank you so much, my good friend. And I mean that. Dung is fun. Thank you. The lovely and talented Liz Solak, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your kind participatory beneficence, your graciousness, your largesse, as it were. So anyway, I hope everybody has a great and a glorious night. Don't forget to follow Mrs. L. Sign up for her YouTube page at Lynn's Warriors. Do this for me and for us. And you have a great and a glorious and a delightful day. My friends, my family, we have been around for many, many years. And I still say right now, I have the best audience, family, members, the conspiratorium, the clerisy. And I'm not saying that to be gratuitous. I mean it sincerely. I think you are the best. You have the best attitude, the best loyalty, the best commitment. You're freaks, you're kooks, you're loons. I love it. There is a heterogeneity of spirit. There's this multiplicity of mental, a veritable cornucopia, a pastiche, a myriad, a mosaic, a hodgepodge, a slumgullion of personality types, the likes of which I've never thought even existed. So you have a great time. We love you. Mrs. L and I love you. See you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Have a great and a glorious day. But until then, remember these words, this valedictory, this sayonara, this adios, the monkey's dead, the show's over, sue ya, tete.